Trevor Hedge from mcnews.com.au talking about the new BMW R1200 GS Adventure. We've just finished day one of a 3-day launch as we lapped Tasmania both on-road and off-road. Of course, the GS Adventure is the slightly larger and more off-road equipped version of the R1200 GS. There's been obviously the major huge change to the GS came last year with the move to water-cooled and a much smarter electronics package. The full review of the R1200 GS can be found on mcnews.com.au already, but this is the GS Adventure we're talking about here, which has a 30 litres of fuel. The previous GS Adventure had 33 litres. The new GS Adventure has 30 litres but is much more fuel efficient, so the range is still around the same, so in excess of 500 k's. The standard GS has a 20 litre tank. It has spoked wheels with knobby tyres as standard, bigger screen, more weather protection, more crash protection, which is also very different than the previous GS Adventure, the way it mounts and the way it faces and where it protects. Auxiliary lighting, LED riding lights, these are also improved from the last GS Adventure. They're meant to be much less venerable, they're tucked away much better. The GS Adventure has 20mm extra suspension travel, front and rear, over the normal R1200 GS. It also has different geometry, different telelever front end, basically a different geometry to help it steer better off-road and to help counteract that it is a slightly larger bike and a slightly heavier bike due to that larger fuel tank and the other changes. So it's wet with that extra 10 kilos of fuel. It's 22 kilos up over a normal R1200 GS. So up on the pegs, it does actually feel quite like a dirt bike. It definitely doesn't look much like one. The new look is pretty tough, I must give it that. But it doesn't feel. It's still a little bit intimidating at first, obviously, until you actually get on it and get up and riding, and then you sort of get used to it and you get accustomed to it and you work with it. Standing up on the pegs, it steers quite nicely. The new electronics are just amazing. Obviously, they're shared with the R1200 GS. We've raved about that elsewhere on the site. So as you come off the road, as we did today, we'd be carving up the road and then we'd head off into some sand, various forms of gravel and a bit of leaf litter. We did a bit of everything today, and then we finished up with on the beach down at Strawn, which you've already seen some of the footage on this video that's playing in the background there. So steering head angle is decreased due to the extra suspension travel, 3mm longer wheelbase. The previous GS Adventure had a lower first gear than the normal R1200 GS. The new GS Adventure has exactly the same ratios throughout the box as the normal GS. Okay, it has a large windscreen with side flaps and hand guards for better wind and weather protection, longer enduro-like snout extension, and a screen for the air intake. The air intake on the new R1200 GS is much higher than its predecessor, so it's much less susceptible to drowning. The GS Adventure also has cross-spoke wheels as standard, and a small stowage compartment on the tank as well. We're all running the BMW medium-sized tank bag. They have a larger one also, but that it can get in the way a little, especially for riders that are a little bit shorter that struggle to reach the bars. So all the bikes have been fitted out with medium-sized tank bags, which of course are very, very handy indeed. Seat height for the GS Adventure is 890 to 910mm. That's adjustable with an accessory low seat. Can be positioned between 840 and 860mm. I'm 178 centimetres tall and have the accessory low seat fitted to my bike in the low position at 840mm. It just makes things a little bit easier. It is a large bike.
Particularly on brand new launches because they display off. They want to have the owners.
BMW Australia has priced the new R1200 GS Adventure at $24,300 plus on roads. They're including 2 riding modes in that, with the automatic stability control program, which is standard, chrome exhaust, heated grips, tyre pressure control, fog lights, wide LED indicators, off-road tyres and pannier fastenings for aluminium panniers. They're all standard in the $24,300 price. Optional is the touring package, which includes dynamic ESA, which is dynamic electronic suspension adjustment, which is just officially awesome. onboard computer pro, which is a very, very detailed trip computer. Preparation and mount for GPS device, which is all integrated from the left handlebar, and cruise control. That's a touring package, that's $1,800 extra. And then there's a dynamic package, which includes LED headlights, riding mode pro, which includes dynamic, enduro and enduro pro plug, and daytime riding light. The Enduro Pro pack, I would say, is almost mandatory for anybody that wants to do any semi-serious off-roading with this bike. It's well worth it. The stability control can be left on at pretty much all times. The only time we turned it off was basically to turn the traction control off to go down the beach, just in case things got a little bit rough. Obviously, as with all beach riding, the hardest bit's getting on the beach and getting off the beach. Actually, riding on the beach is never too hard, but everybody managed to keep it upright today, which was quite a successful mission. Well, that's your brief intro to the R1200 GS Adventure. As I said, we're only in day one now of a 3-day ride. It's obviously much improved over its predecessor. It's the biggest leap since, I think, when was the last big leap? Probably 2004. Was a huge leap forward, and then the last of the air-cooled was also had a nice leap forward with the engine. But this latest machine, the water-cooled Boxer, is pretty damn special.